Here and back with another episode on The Twisted T2, baby. And well, in case you missed yesterday's episode, we were talking about tipping. Yeah, that restaurant industry, and as you know, it gets messy. Where the first guest felt as though they said, well, are they the ass because they didn't tip based on the service they received, which they felt like didn't come from the server. And the second one said they didn't tip because they overheard what the server said about it. That's right. Messy. Feel free to check those out. We'll leave those at the end of this episode. Now, today, we're diving right back into them categories of MIDA, because some of you are. Hey, including myself from time to time. Now, one of those big things that people always seem to get misconstrued or messed up is birthday gifts and just gifts in general, right? Gift giving is something that, well, it requires a little bit of thought in order for you to make it really good for another person. So, this lady would like to know. Apparently, her name is Plastic Cat. Plastic Cat would like to know if she is being an A or is her husband being the A. Now, it says, my husband got me a vacuum for my 50th birthday. Now, that's a big birthday. Title says it all. Turned 50 yesterday. And mind you, this was put up today, right? So y'all will catch it tomorrow. So this won't even be 48 hours old when you get it. So you can still go comment. Now, husband, 53 male, woke me up. Told me he had a surprise for me downstairs. I go downstairs to see a vacuum. Not even wrapped, mind you. He said he thought I'd like a new one since the current one doesn't have the ability to turn off the brush roller when using on hardwood floors. I never asked for a new one. It worked fine. That was my birthday. Not even lunch or dinner. He mentioned a month ago about doing something special and going on a trip. I asked about that. He said he'd figured I'd tell him when and where I wanted to go. Well, he never asked where, but I did mention several times over the past month he had a surprise for me. Apparently, it was a vacuum. We've been married for 17 years. Am I the A for hoping or expecting that maybe he could have planned a surprise for me with something, anything, something more than Amazon next day vacuum delivery? When he turned 50, I took him to Hawaii. Maybe I'm just being hypersensitive. Turning 50 has been a hard number for me. Parents and grandparents all passed in that decade. Okay. So you got to edit in here where it says, thank you for the numerous people who reported my post to Reddit Crisis Cares. Not necessary. And to the me troll saying, get a life, no one cares, don't be a gold digger, or it's the thought that counts. I wish you nothing but success and prosperity in your life. Peace. Okay. All right. Well, Plastic Cat. I will say, before we dive into the comments, Plastic Cat, that obviously it's one of those things where people do expect, right? An expectation of what you get for a gift will always lead you into some miserable mess, all right? You all have been together for 17 years. So in those 17 years, granted you took him 3 years ago to Hawaii for his birthday, my question back, was that something that he mentioned to you? Was that something that you actually might have wanted to do secretly and then you said, okay, I'm going to do this for him so we both can do it, right? How have things been lately? You know, do you all go out and go places and then he listens to a complaint about you being out, so he feels as though what he's doing isn't necessarily, cared about? So he said, well, I'm just going to get this vacuum this year and call it a day. I don't know. All right, these are questions that I would like to ask. So it gives us a better understanding of the dynamic of what's taking place and what's going on in and around this. Now, from what we read, he pretty much wanted you to tell him, hey, I'd like to go here, from here to here, and book it, right? Now, We don't know your financial state if that's something you all can just pick up and go and do right away, right? I will say that with it only being the vacuum, right? And you turned 50 yesterday, we also don't know if your husband might have some other tricks up his sleeve, right? He may just be trying to surprise you and you don't know it yet. He may not. And then he's just tired of dealing with shit. And he said, here's your vacuum. You still haven't cleaned enough. Have fun with that. That also could be the case, right? And considering how he didn't wrap it, he figured, well, if it's unwrapped, she can use it faster. We can get this house clean. But hey, okay? We're not sure about your dynamic, all right? So is he an asshole for just getting you a vacuum? A little bit, maybe. Just a little bit. You know, it's a little inconsiderate. That's something that, you know, you could have gotten as a house gift versus your wife's gift, because you might not use the vacuum and she might, but it doesn't mean that, again, that's something she wants. Honestly, it seems like, you know, I don't know her, so I don't know if she complains a lot or a little, but you could have went out to lunch and she would have been happy with that. And it would have probably costed you the same thing as the vacuum, and she'd have still been happy with her old vacuum. But hey, to each his own. Also, Plastic Cat, I get it that, you know, things are going to be hard. Things have been hard for you since yesterday when you turned 50, based off of your parents and your grandparents passing away all in that decade. Now, if you know that, I think that it's a really good time for you to start looking into your own health and making sure that you are okay for those that are around you, so that you don't have to worry about stuff like that. All right? Let's dive into these comments. I'm sorry. Do you need bail money? I get it. My dad got my mom towels and kitchen knives one year. That's the Christmas that, oh wow, lives in infamy. Hearing my mom scream, I can't wear knives through a closed door lives rent-free in my head. No, you cannot wear knives, and you damn sure don't want to wear those outside. Regifting it to him on the next occasion, that calls for a gift. You could do that too. Oh, absolutely. You know what they say. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Next birthday, just casually drop a set of new lawnmower blades in his lap. Not the A. But you need to tell him in your honest feelings about this, not the internet, and have a bigger, honest conversation about your relationship. I doubt this is the first instance that you are unhappy about. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if the lady complains all the time or not complains all the time. All right? So, you know, if she do complain all the time, then there's a lot to talk about. If he's just a shitty gift giver and they got him out there, then you knew that 17 years ago when you was getting gifts then. I told my kids when they were young and my partner never to buy me anything for my birthday or Mother's Day that has to do with cooking or cleaning. That's so thoughtful and unthoughtful of you at the same time. I guess it'll save those arguments, but it really takes that whole I put thought into giving you what I thought you should have out of it, okay? Just saying. Your ass would be getting cards. Take yourself to Hawaii and leave the vacuum in the living room so he could pull a doofy from a movie. For those of you who get it, you do. And those who don't, you don't. Doofy used the vacuum. No excuse can justify this. You are not overly sensitive. He's underly sensitive, thoughtless, and lazy. No one who has been taken to Hawaii for a milestone birthday or any birthday could possibly think that this was appropriate. Tell him to find out whether it was an intimate attachment, because he's going to need it. You know what that means. The only time a house appliance is appropriate as a gift is if the gift receiver asked for it, or it's a KitchenAid stand mixer. You know, you get a KitchenAid stand mixer, Blue Diamond, them some is expensive, so no one complains. No one complains when they get one of those. I even know somebody that got one and never even used it, but it was there and they ain't complain. Okay? He bought you a vacuum for your 50th. That should include a labor for the life of the vacuum, meaning he is doing the chore. Now and on for several weeks. That is not the case, is it? If that's not the case on your 50th, then the gift is not appropriate. He needs to do it over and be better in line with the trip for Hawaii. Oh, and it better line up with a trip to Hawaii. Yo, listen, I'd be devastated. It's not about the vacuum. It's about the complete lack of effort. A 50th is a big deal. And he knew that, especially since you did something amazing for him. I'd have to have a serious talk with him about how he made you feel. Because this isn't just bad gift issue. It's a he doesn't seem to care issue. Good point there. Not the A. You need to have a conversation with your hubs. Today was my 50th birthday. A milestone. A month ago, you mentioned a trip to celebrate for your 50th. Surprised you with a trip to Hawaii. I planned it for months. You ordered me a vacuum that I didn't want 2 days ago. Not a trip. You cannot be bothered planning anything. You were waiting for me to tell you where I wanted to go. So once again, I'm expecting to do all the planning and organizing in this relationship. This time for my own birthday. Listen, before I even read the rest of it, all right? You know the type of people that you deal with. And if you know that this person is one of those people who gives lackluster gifts and is pretty inconsiderate with their gift giving, or when you all are out and they're at the store going, yeah, just pick that out for so-and-so, you know that gift giving isn't their thing and they just don't care about that, which also can play a part, right? So, yes, you should definitely communicate with him, all right, and talk to him about how you feel, Plastic Cat, but it's one of those things where it's shitty because it's not a fair gift for you, right? So no, you're not the asshole for feeling the way you feel, but you definitely need to bring it up to him. And if you know that this is the type of things that he does and he's a shitty gift giver, then yeah. Well, you know that, then that would make you the asshole because you was expecting for him to change and do something different that he hasn't done in 17 years. And granted, you went out your way to, take him on that Hawaii trip. And like I said before, I don't know if that Hawaii trip was for him or for you. I get it happened on his birthday, but let's be honest with each other here. There are times where people schedule things out of their own necessity for what they want to do and put it out there for what someone else can do at the same time. So yes, it may have been fun for the both of you, but he might not even want to go to Hawaii. Hey, he might have just wanted to sit on the couch with his vacuum, the old one that did the job, and figured out it stopped working for him the way he needed it. Let's get a new one, because it's not rolling like it's supposed to. But hey, to each his own, all right? With that being said, some of these people in the comments are obviously interesting, and I do hope that he does surprise you with something else, because then that would, be a lot better for you. Now let's get into what I'd like to call shitty friends, okay? The reason why I say that is because it looked